Hey everyone, so we're here to do a top 10 list because every good board game channel should have a top 10 list. And I'm Sydney and this is
I'm John.
John. So our top 10, you can of course see it on our BGG profiles, which I am Karate Kid Sid. John, you are
Blue and green.
blue underscore in underscore green. And you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
John's going to kick us off.
You should have the last word. So my number 10 game is Race for the Galaxy.
Good pick.
This was one of the first games that we ever played as a couple. We started getting into gaming right when we got married about 5 years ago. And this was, I think the first comment I saw on this was that it's the most fun per minute spent. And we've probably played this more than any other game in our collection. It's kind of like an engine builder. Well, it is an engine builder, and you kind of play it. It's multiplayer solitaire, designed by Tom Lehmann, who's done some other great games, which I'll talk about later. What do I want to say about it?
It's a good number 10, but I think it should be higher up on the list, as we'll see. But no, really, we have played this game more than probably pretty much any other game, and not just because we've had it for 5 years and it was one of the first games into our collection, but it really just is really replayable for us.
Well, it's got staying power. After we're 135 games in now, and we always come back to this one. It's probably the best weekend game, the best short game.
When you're not up for too much, but you're up for a good board game, this one really fits, I think.
Yeah.
I find.
Yeah,
it's like, but maybe we're familiar with it. We can just pull it out and play, and it really is 20 minutes. So
yeah.
I will say, John doesn't know this, but I actually sneak 25 victory chits in a lot, because I don't know why you'd only have 24, because then where's the tie break? But so often
I didn't know that.
Often we played at 25, but he didn't know that.
Really?
But now you guys know that, and he knows it now too.
That's probably why I lose all the time.
No, I don't usually go for victory points with the chits anyways. So I'm actually giving you a handicap.
You shouldn't do that.
I shouldn't do that, but
I'm very
sometimes
against
I do that.
modifying games.
Okay, well, anyways, let's move on to my number 10.
Number 10.
My number 10 is this game here. It will not be the only Vlaada game to make this list, but this one here is Galaxy Trucker, and this feels like a rather unique game to me. I like it for a number of reasons. Reason number one is that it feels like I get to build something different every time. So in this game, you're effectively building your own spaceship. There's three not phases, but 3 rounds that you'll play in, and your ship gets to constantly be bigger and bigger, so you're always getting this new challenge, kind of feel like you're moving up in the ranks. And there's just different parts, and there's this constant feeling that you want to get a perfect ship, and I really like aiming for that. And so, yeah, you're trying your best to do that, and you don't always do it because sometimes you run out of time from the other players, so there's that pressure that they're building ships, and you need to build your ship the fastest if you want to get, hopefully, again, the perfect ship. And then you really do get to destroy your ship at the end of all of it. You have a series of events, some which you can know.
There's 2 rounds. There's the building round, which is the core of the game, and then there's the scoring round, which thematically ties into
destroying your ship.
Just having your ship destroyed.
Well, or rather, you want it to survive. That's really the goal. You want to survive. Bring home the most money, the most goods, the most rare goods. Not have left your guys behind in space, or maybe you did because it earned you more money. But a really, really fun game, and I think once you can learn the pieces is a fairly
It's almost like a
straightforward
party game.
Yeah.
But don't buy it if you're not a gamer for a party. But
that's right. But if you're a gamer and your friends are gamers,
this is like a gamer's party.
It'll
game.
fill it in, but it's really fun, and yeah, it definitely makes my top 10 list. All right, number 9.
Number 9, we have Combat Commander. First war game on my list. The first tactical war game that we ever played. I think that the reason I like this one, well, I wanted to have a tactical war game on the list. I like this one a lot because I'm not that into war games per se. I'm more of a gamer than a war aficionado. So I like that this adds a lot of gaminess with the cards and the card play. It's almost like Race for the Galaxy, where cards can do different things. They can be your currency. And, you have orders, actions, events. They drive the game. They add randomness. You don't have dice, so it feels a little bit more controllable in the sense that if you can count your cards, you know what might be coming.
Oh, that's so hard. We're not that good. Come on.
We're not that good, but with dice, I always feel like I always feel screwed by the dice. But in this, you have the cards, and it's like, okay, that's a bad card, but it's out, and we can go on. And so it's just been a good introduction to tactical war games. It's fun, small maps, thematic, like it's got a little flavor text as it leads you in. Every scenario is a little different.
Real photos. It's pretty cool.
Real photos. It's not very complex. It was hard to learn. It was my first tactical war game, but I wasn't familiar with the style of rule book. Once I got through it, though, with some encouragement, it was, it's pretty easy. And the cards hold most of the rules. So once you understand the framework through the rules, you can go back to it pretty easily because the cards hold the rules, and you might have to reference a couple things. But we have a lot of fun playing this.
I learned I need to be more aggressive.
You need to be more aggressive to have fun with it. And we still have a lot to learn.
As the Americans, you often play the Germans, and the Germans are kind of a defensive game to some extent. Yeah. Depending on the map in this scenario, but we found a couple times I should have been a lot more aggressive, but it moved the game along.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a very serious war game, so it's a good introduction. Lots of maps.
It's really fun doing.
Got the expansion.
Calling in with the radio.
Haven't played the expansion. Calling in. Is it artillery?
Artillery.
No, is it? Their support with the radio, breaking radios. Oh, yeah,
that's fun.
That part's really fun. That's my number 10.
Lots of card drawing.
Card drawing, you burn through cards. It's a lot like that one Tom Vassal likes. What's it here?
Card drawing.
Duel of Ages.
Oh.
It feels like Duel of Ages, where you're just burning cards, and the cards are the result. So your deck does everything. You draw from it. Anyway.
It's good.
Enough about that, but Combat Commander.
All right.
My number 9.
My number 9 will appear, I think, much higher on your list. But my number 9 is Twilight Struggle. For a long time, this was number 1 on BGG's list of board games. And this game is, many of you will know, it's a game about the Cold War. It's a 2-player, card-driven game. Where there's 3 phases, effectively, the early war, the mid-war, and the late war, and you get to introduce a new deck for each of those stages of the war. It really does feel like a struggle. It's really interesting that it's asymmetrical. I mean, there are some shared card concepts in terms of how they impact the gameplay, but otherwise, playing as the US or as Russia. I often play as Russia. John often plays
I've never played as Russia.
No, not yet?
We've only ever played with each other, so you've never played as American.
Okay, I guess I like the Russians in this case. They get to go on more of the heavy-hitting up front, I guess, in the game. Typically, if the US player can draw things out to the late war, they have a much better chance of winning. I beat John at this game for a long time, but lately...
I've won maybe once?
Times, no, I think you've won twice now. The last 2 games we've played, I'm pretty sure John took them. Okay, we'll have to play again and
I like that every card in this game is unique.
Yeah, except, no, not quite true. Like, I get Quagmire, you get Bear Trap, for example. So there's a couple. Every card, like, text,
it's a different event in world history.
Yeah, that part is very, very cool.
I'll be talking about it.
Yeah, John will talk about this some more. But
I don't want to spoil it, but
definitely a great
going to be talking
about
this a little
Should
later.
be on many, many top 10 lists, I think. All right, John, do you want to go to your number 8?
I will. So I've got Medici. This is an auction game by Dr. Rainer Knizia. I like this game because, again, very quick playing. I like the type of decisions it has. It's got a bit of a push your luck element in the fact that you're trying to build a boat of 5 goods. You're trying to select 5 goods, and you have the chance to draw up to 3 cards and start an auction, and you're the last person to bid. So there's great little important decisions that are made throughout each turn. And I have a fetish for poker chips. And we play this game with poker chips.
Oh, you're going to say auction games.
So when we don't get to play a more serious economic game or train game, this is what I pull out. It plays well with 4 to 6, and it plays quickly, even with 6.
And people pick it up pretty fast.
It's easy to teach.
Yeah, that part's
This is a great game. This is almost always in our game bag when we
go anywhere.
Go to church, when we go anywhere to play games.
Yeah.
We bring this one. And it's quick. It's like half an hour. So, people like Raw for 3, 2 or 3. I don't really play with 2. This is good with 4 to 6.
Good game.
Good game.
All right. My number 8, I would say, is Bohnanza. Bohnanza is a Uwe Rosenberg game. It plays kind of long, maybe, depending on how much you're into the game. It's a game where it's a game that uses a deck of cards that have beans on them. They're worth different values. There's different numbers of each kind of beans in the deck. You're trying to plant those beans together into different rows, effectively different fields, and you want to eventually harvest those, move them out, change them into coins, which counts as points in the game. But you get to trade these beans or have to deal with beans that you draw and don't want yourself, and therefore trade them off with the players around you. And that's where the real meat of this game is in the social interactions of the game, where I'm trying to negotiate with you to take care of my beans that I don't want, and you're trying to pawn off on me your crappy wax beans or other things, or maybe you're just trying to give me what you're saying is a good deal, but really it would be the end of the game if I traded with you. So just a really good game. It really depends on who you're playing with, I think. Again, it can go sometimes long, depending on who you are or how much energy you have, but again, I think it's a really great, fun game.
It says it plays 2 to 7. That's not really true.
That's true.
It plays about 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Or else it's too long. It's one of the most group-dependent games, as Sydney mentioned. So group-dependent because...
But I just love the beans. I would just play anyways, even
if... It's 100% negotiation. So if you don't like fooling around and negotiating with your friends and trying to win...
Yeah. But if you like coffee beans or red beans, maybe we could make a deal. You could play, and I could play with you, and it could work out. It's a great game. I love it. It definitely makes my top 10
Not on my top 10, not on my top 20, but it's a good game.
Yeah, we have definitely a difference on this one. But again, my number 8. All right, John, what's your number 7?
Number 7, Castles of Burgundy. Where's that?
It's over here, sorry.
The Castles of Burgundy. This was in the second wave of games that we ever bought. So that the first wave was Race for the Galaxy, Twilight Struggle, and Dominion and War of the Ring. Very heavy to learn when that was your first round of games. Other than Catan. I guess Catan was the prologue. Those were the second. This was in the third set, so everybody loves talking about this. It's almost invariably recommended if somebody asks on BGG for a 2-player game. But honestly, as much as I would love to be hipster and say that this game's lame because it's so popular, I actually really enjoy it. So the art I find terrible. Sydney likes it.
Well, I think it's thematic for the little theme that it has. The iconography is quite difficult to follow for the bonus tiles, but the rest you get used to.
Not my favorite iconography.
You get used to it.
I do like that the best thing about Stefan Feld games, and I think this does it the best, maybe Trajan does it better, but the comboing. Mm-hmm. So what I like about this one better than Trajan is it does dice properly. Because you're never screwed. Like how I mentioned, I don't like in Combat Commander, you roll dice and your turn's over. This one has so many ways to mitigate the bad rolls. And because the dice drive the game, but it's not like you need a 1 or a 6, it goes beyond. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And so if you need a 1, you're only two steps away. So it feels really great. You're only ever a couple steps away from the number you need. And then you get the combos going. And when you do 2, 3, 4 things on one turn, it's great. So, plays in about an hour and a half, maybe less if you're quick. Weeknight game, pretty light, pretty easy to learn.
Very fun.
A lot of bang for the time buck.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's had a lot of staying power. It's amazing after 130. I keep saying 130 games because it's a round number, but we've played a lot of games since getting this, and it's up there.
It's up higher even on my list. But what I will say about this one that I like now is having your own ability to build on your own player mat, and the interaction happening from effectively the board that's shared, which is where you're effectively drawing resources or you're drawing tiles from to then play into your own board space. And I really like that because I really like building my own, but I also really like watching what John's doing, seeing if I can capture something before him, or seeing that he's lining up to do some really sweet combo and just capturing it just for the sake of it, or knowing, just I'm trying really hard to get something and John snatches it from me. It's just that, how did he get that before me?
For such a game,
really
it
good.
Feels like it looks like it would be multiplayer solitaire. I find this one's light enough that I can look at what Sydney's doing and then try to hurt her.
In a nice way, always.
In a game way.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah,
it works well. We're just not that good
really
at games.
Yeah.
We're not good enough at a lot of games.
And of course, in traditional Feld fashion, it's definitely a point salad, so you get to feel like you're getting points constantly throughout the games, and I always like that feeling of
Sydney
pat
really
on the
likes
back.
that.
That's nice. I like that. It's supposed to be fun game time. So.
On a side note, when we were playing Antiquity, it blew her mind when she was like, "Wait, we're not getting points."
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, it's just
a
win
you just
condition.
have to win? What? I thought you got points."
All right. So my number 7 is the only co-op game on either of our lists, I believe. Yes.
We're not huge co-op people.
Not huge, but I really love this one, Robinson Crusoe. This game is, effectively creates scenarios where you together cooperatively have to conquer, either maybe trying to escape from the island or building a fire, or you're trying to rescue Jenny, or just different things like that. But there's so many different areas of the game. So for example, actions you can gather, you can hunt, you can rest, you can build, you can explore, all the things that you would obviously do on a real desert island in order to survive. And it's really great how big the decks are. You never go through any one deck, even in the handful of games we've played. Probably a little bit fewer than 10 games maybe, but and in part that's again because we're not huge co-op gamers generally, but I just think the theme comes through so well and the mechanic works quite smoothly. And it's hard, but it's not too hard, but it's hard, and you sometimes are, again, just really surprised. I like this game that there can be, they're called treasure chests, where basically you find treasure.
They're almost always bad.
And they're almost always bad. You would think it's called treasure. I'm on a desert island. Thematically, there should be something like gold or something, and instead, you just find a skeleton, but something else worse might come out too. So we won't give away too many of the cards. But
so this game's not on my list, but a couple comments. If you're gonna have a gamer's co-op game, it has to be hard, and it is hard.
It is.
I think that to get the most out of this game, you have to have a good imagination, and I don't have the best imagination, so it's hard for me to feel. I know the designer Ignacy Trzewiczek. He talks about how it tells a different story every time, and I'm sure it does, but I don't get a story out of it. So I enjoy it. It's kind of fun as a, can you survive the game? But I don't walk away feeling like I got a story, and that's my fault, not the game's fault. So. Oh,
I take away maybe more of an experience than a story, I would say, where I really felt the experience of what should I do if I was in this predicament, or when I'm looking at these parameters, or what we're really in need of, what should I go and do? And the game says you should gather, it says you need to go and hunt, or hey, should I take the dog with us? And yeah, often John likes to be a lot riskier than I am in this game as well, but I think that makes us work well as co-op players.
Should I check this?
Oh, sure.
this out. Yep, still recording.
Great. Okay.
Sorry, testing the new camera. Or the old camera,
Old
new
camera,
application.
New application.
Where are we on?
We're tied on number 6.
I'm going first, right?
Sure. Well, we're together.
Oh, same game.
Same game.
Can't read that.
Food Chain Magnate.
Oh, Food Chain Magnate.
Of course.
What a great game. This was our first spotter game. And I was so excited to get this.
I was excited. I was.
No, Sydney bought it for me.
Yeah.
We were driving home from church and I was agonizing over to get it or not because I was reading such great things about it. And this game did not disappoint. This was so much fun.
And we've had many people play this with us from our
We've gone in more
game
play.
group, and they all want to come back. They get mind blown on their first play, and then
Destroyed.
they go home. Yeah, they get destroyed for sure. We all got destroyed.
But you tell them up front.
Yeah, and then they all go home, and they all are thinking about it going to bed. They practically can't sleep, and they come talk to us about it immediately, and then say we need to play again. Followed by
there's so much planning.
Yeah.
There's no luck. It's just you have to plan so far ahead.
Yeah, and like again, they would be online looking at strategies immediately because
so
you just want to do well. You want your company to succeed. The Go Duck Diner, wants to know how to serve enough burgers to make enough money to survive the game and possibly win.
Very, very, very competitive. Very aggressive.
Very good theme.
A Euro game.
Very thematic, I feel.
You're fighting over the food. So you're building up a staff of people and you're trying to create demand, create resources, fulfill the demand, which is the food for the people, and collect money.
And gather bonuses.
As you gather the money, you can employ more people. When you're the first person to do things, you get the bonus cards. So there's so many ways to get ahead, and you can't do everything like all good Euro games, the conundrum they give you. But you have to figure out how to play the other players in this game and make the best off a tight board with limited resources. And you got to figure out how to drive the game. And so this is so good. I really like train games and economic games, 18xx and stuff. But not a lot of people like that. We can get this played regularly with a lot of different types of people.
Almost as much as we want.
Yeah.
If we had more time.
And people keep coming back for this. So
yeah.
And poker chips. Lots of poker chips. I really enjoy that.
That's true.
Anything else?
Well, should we tell them about how there's an expansion coming apparently, but we've already created our own in-house.
Mechanic. Don't give them.
Don't give them. Okay, maybe in the future we'll be able to.
There might be mob bosses that can burn down
arsons could show up. I don't know.
There's a whole black
Yeah.
criminal network of employees that we were thinking
He might need to.
That is a great idea. We need to work on that.
We should work on it.
If anyone's interested, Jorgen, what's his name? Probably got that wrong. Call us. We can work on that.
All right, let's move on. So that was both of our number 6s. You want to do your number 5?
Yours and Jorgen.
Your number 5?
My number 5, as just mentioned, 18xx, and I have one of the darlings, 1860 here. I really just wanted to show off this
box. I know.
18xx has had a long and varied history with us.
Not in my top 10.
We started with 1846. We had a local guy teach us who runs a great Toronto-based 18xx group. He told me about this one sitting on a shelf at Harry Tarantula in Toronto. And I was so excited. Called them, had it on hold, went up there. It's worth about $300 right now. $300-400 maybe Canadian. 18xx is a amazing game. No luck. All the players, there's shared incentives. You're building up train companies, building track, playing the stock market. There's an active stock market, and everything drives around the valuation of different companies. And so you're investing in each other's companies and trying to make the best of it or not. And dump the company, meaning stick the obligations of that company on a different player.
Which is harder to do than you think.
Harder to, because when
Much
people
harder to
learn, they can avoid it. But
yeah.
But
so you get excited knowing that part about the game, but it doesn't actually happen that often if you've played even a couple times.
But this game feels alive.
It does feel alive.
So everything's moving in this game. And so, you know, we're complete noobs at this. We've played maybe 5 or 6 titles, maybe 10 or 15 rounds. And it's just like, we aren't even scratching the surface. But it's hard to get played. They're very long. The shortest one, we haven't played even the shortest ones in under 4 hours. So you're looking at 4 to 10 plus hours for one of these games. But we can play this one 2 players. We play this over a couple nights. We've only played it once. I love playing these. We play them on my birthday because
they're special.
It's a treat to me. But these are great games, and I wish more people knew about them, talked about them. And I wish there were shorter, slightly shorter titles. But 18xx, oh, so many poker chips you can play with these. Hundreds and hundreds of poker chips are needed for these.
I'll say with good chain, I think. So my number 5 is actually Castles of Burgundy, which we've already reviewed. But again, just saying, a great game. Should have been higher on John's list, as you can see. Yeah, nothing more to add, but I have to say, I really love this. Way to go, Stefan Feld. All right, number 4.
Here we go. Twilight Struggle.
Bring this back.
Bring it back. So I have a love-hate relationship with this in that I always, well, for the longest time I could not win this game. But I like this game a lot. I respect it a lot. It took me so long to figure out how to make efficient use of my turns. And so I was always falling behind because I was doing what I wanted to do rather than what I should do, which is let some countries go to
Russia,
the opposing side, and focus where you have control and where you can see.
Which that does remind me, there's some benefit to knowing the cards ahead of time after playing a few times.
Not some benefit.
Okay, lots of benefit. Because it does let you know, for example, you know, like France is just going to go, you know, partway through the game on you. It's just going to turn itself from one card that's definitely getting played, and you may as well not try and hold it. And there's some other cards like that, like John's saying, once you learn to kind of let these ones go, or you know that that's going to come in your favor later. Like, I would never ever claim Romania because I know Romania is going to be mine later in the game. So things like that.
I know that a lot of hardcore wargamers don't like this. They don't consider it a war game. But for the masses, this is a great, great, great experience that takes some elements like historical events driving the game.
And should we point out this should be back, like, above Pandemic Legacy? It really should be.
We're not big on Pandemic.
Huge. It's okay. It's okay. It's good. Hopefully we don't get stoned.
I know that that's a real debate on PGG, so we'll just leave it at that. But
yeah.
For me, this was one of the, we bought this game in Wave 1 or Wave 2 of games that we ever got. And it was hard to learn at the time, but you go back and look at it, it's like, wow, this is an easy GMT, war-ish game, wimp game, as Callendale would refer to it, but it's a treat. I always want to play that more than we play.
That is John's number 4.
Number 4.
My number 4 is a game we haven't seen yet, Dominant Species. Now, it's interesting, Dominant Species makes me think of a coworker of mine who, she had played it and said, no, not a good game. And I thought, and I hadn't played it. I hadn't played it yet at that point. But I knew we had it. But I knew we had that. Yeah, she said it was for her favorite is Power Grid. And you know, we're pretty, I like Power Grid. It's pretty good. It's not on my top 10, but it's good. But then when I went to play it, I have to say I was really pleasantly surprised. It helps that there's a huge point salad in this game. It's a really interesting game thematically, I think. The way that you're trying to survive, the way that your particular characters, so there's different species. So, looks like we're back, but I just had a battery die. Of course, there'd be technical issues for our first video like this. So as I was saying, through the ages, I like to build the Hanging Gardens, a fun card that I can't resist building. And effectively, you put them into your own tableau area where the buildings go to work for you, making resources, helping you feed people, helping you gain culture points, which is how you win the game, help you build up your science and technology power, which will help buy you cool goods later on, military power. It's a great mix of solitaire building your own thing, which I really like, and also interaction with the other player through either the power of the military or just stealing particular cards and shifting things down the road that you know your opponent might like or might try to buy. You can see what is going on in their little civilization over across the table from you. It's just a really great variable game every time you play as well, getting to be different people, getting to build different things, seeing things come out in a different order. You do play with effectively almost all the cards every time, but again, it's still quite variable feeling. I think maybe the start is replicated, quite often, but I'd say certainly by the second deck through, or where it's a new game for sure. So Through the Ages, my number 3. And actually, I'm going to pass it on as his
my number 2. What I'll say about this is that this is, to me, very scratches similar itches to Race for the Galaxy. I'll explain that in a second, but much, much longer. So this is about 4 hours. We're not that fast. We're not the slowest people in the world, but we're not that fast. It's about a 4-hour game. So what I like about it, it's got the card drafting element that... you get to see what's coming, you get to draft what you want, you build your little empire, but it has the, what are they called, the green cards, the event cards, or the whatever, that create interaction, so you have some abstracted military engagements between, so abstracted, and that's just the strength of your military, you're just comparing strength, but if your strength's above, there's some really damaging cards that can
you can't let it go. You can't be on too much of a differential or you'll be in trouble.
Yeah, it's like it simulates the Cold War element where, you don't really want to have a war, but if one person gets up, it's going to be bad for the other. So you got to really keep your arms going. Love the theme. This one's so much fun, and it's big, and it's thinky. The first time we played it, I think my mind was blown. And you get into it, it doesn't feel heavy really anymore. I think it's still in the 4s, like low mid 4s on BGG, and it's hard to feel like this is that heavy now. But the first time, I remember thinking, "Wow, that's a lot."
When you're really familiar with board game rules too, we've been finding things get easier to learn, things get easier to play. You've seen mechanics before, or things just stick better, and it really does help when the theme is there too to guide you.
I think Vlaada does that the best, where his rules are a lot. There's a lot of rules. Don't love the 2 rulebook thing. I think I'd like it better if the second rulebooks were more complete. I feel like I do have to go back to the walkthrough from time to time to find what I'm looking for. This got the typical Euro thing where you build your engine and you have to figure out when to cash in on it. And it's like the standard, but to me this one does it the best of any of the Euro games we've tried, and it plays great with 2. We've never played it more than 2 players. And
which means we do miss the pacts that you can make, but where you can make a pact with just between 2 of you and leave the third person out until someone breaks the pact, which there's other consequences for that. But we just find it takes long enough for us to do our turns that it would become just even too long of a game, and we often even right now like to play maybe an Age and Knight, like the Ancient Age, which is Age A and Age 1, and then Age 2 and then Age 3. Sometimes, you get going enough, you really just want to keep playing. We'll play Age 2 and 3 together, but Through the Ages. My number 3, John's number 2.
It could be my number 1 on any given day.
That's true. It's really hard between the top 3 for me. My number 2 is down at the bottom of John's list at his number 10, but my number 2 is Race for the Galaxy. We've already talked quite a bit about this game. I really love this game. I think the theme really does it for me too, that it really makes me, when I'm going after a particular type of card to go together, a group of cards, for example, the alien technologies or the green technologies, or maybe I'm just trying to do military, or maybe I get a 6 development card that lets me tie things together really well that I've already been doing. I just find that that really seals the deal that I got to engine build, and it was really fun. So my number 2, Race for the Galaxy.
Yep, great game.
All right, number 1.
My number 1.
We have the same number 1.
Do we?
Of course. We love this game.
Oh my goodness.
2-player.
This game. It's amazing.
Vlaada, how did you do it again? 3 games. 3
Mage
games in the
Knight.
top 10.
This was a birthday present that Sydney got for me and learned the rules. So
Which weren't that bad, I have to say. Vlaada rates.
she learned it over time on the subway.
On the subway. About 4 days of reading.
That was a real.
I was trying to be really thorough in my reading because I wanted it to be a smooth playthrough for
And
John's birthday.
This was great. This was one of my best gaming memories, was getting to play this. I wanted it very, very, very much when we ended up getting it. We avoided it for a long time for a couple reasons, but we eventually got it, and oh my goodness. This has everything that I want. So it's a deck builder kind of, in the sense that you
start with the same deck every time, and you grow that deck, and when you grow it,
each character has the same deck, but the characters are a little different.
That's right. Slightly different strengths in different areas. I often play Noroeste, so I get a bit more, a bit more influence, better recruiting. You often play. I don't even know your character.
I play a bunch.
You kind of mix around more than I do.
Yeah. I like the Goldex guy, the green dragon. Anyway, so you're starting as a weakling in this big bad world with lots of scary monsters, and you're going out and you're building your deck. And
you want to get famous as a Mage Knight.
Yeah.
Come on!
You go around basically killing everything you find, every monster you
Taking
find.
over the castles. You want the mage towers because you want to get spelled at cards so that you can take on bigger and badder monsters by the time you get to the cities, where you got to battle like multiple people at once with elevated powers. It is just a great game. I'll let John.
I grew up playing RPGs on the computer. This does a lot of really cool things, or throwback things. So you have a lot of decisions to do good things or bad things. Your fame will go up. Or is it your reputation? Your reputation will go up if you do good things, and your reputation will go down if you do bad things. And I just have so much fun with this. The cards, it's a lot of unique cards, a lot of powers, and the powers in this game are so strong. They're so strong.
Yeah, it's amazing. You look at some of these bad guys and you think, there is no way I could beat this guy with my cards. And then somehow you put your cards together and you're like, whoa, how did I just do that?
It's all a big puzzle on how you use your cards efficiently. You can use cards for different things. That's a theme of our games. We like that type of decision for us. I know it's just like a puzzle, but it's a fun puzzle. So you just have fun going around and puzzling together all your cards, and you might sit there for a long time, especially if you got 3 monsters in one turn that you're trying to kill, and you just trying to hit them all different ways.
And you feel good as your character gets stronger, because you do some really cool things where you're like, I can now, instead of these guys that would have just attacked the crap out of me, now I just simply play this card and you don't attack me anymore. It's really cool how you develop your character in such a short amount of time. It's a little bit sad sometimes.
It's a short amount of time.
It's sometimes a little bit sad. You'll have built your character, you'll like your guy, and next game you're gonna start fresh. But yeah, you're gonna.
For me, this game provides a lot more bang for the time buck than Gloomhaven. So the Gloomhaven feels so slow after this. I know they're different. I'm not trying to say they're similar games, but this is like,
in terms of character development, 2
sittings, and we feel like we've had just a blast building up our character and exploring the world.
Yeah. Definitely a number 1 worthy game, in our opinions.
Yeah, this is our favorite. We've played this a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are our top 10s. We wanted to conclude, however, by noting that...
what we want to play more of.
What we want to play more of at this present time. Because, for example... right now, it just was my birthday recently, this past week, and John got for me Antiquity and learned Antiquity for me. And I unfortunately can't hold up anything really for you because I have it all splayed out on our table here. It's literally right there. But if you go on the channel, and you'll actually be able to see that I did a box opening. Yeah, subscribe. Is it up here? Not sure yet. We'll have to get better at this.
We don't know how to do that.
Not sure yet, but
it's advanced technique.
But there's an unboxing video of Antiquity and a look at some of the components that's on the channel. And Antiquity, it was good. It was good for the first playthrough. We didn't really play through the first time, but we started over once we got a feel for it, and that was a good idea. We had a really close game at the end, which we weren't sure was actually going to be close or not, is what I heard in the first few turns. Made me feel really good, like I was doing really well, and John came back and nabbed the game. But anyway, so Antiquity is definitely up there for me. I'd say another game, I always want to bring Food Chain Magnate to the table when I'm thinking of group games. I could definitely play some more of that.
For me, I'm really enjoying Splatter, so I would like to play Indonesia. We have that. I want to play Napoleon's Triumph. This was my Grail game for the longest time. That was another birthday present.
The process of
that pretty much stopped my buying habit.
Yeah.
But, more 18XX, more Splatter, and
always more
a couple of these war games. Pericles as well. I think it's going to be hard. I think I'm going to love this game when we learn it, but we need a group that's committed to that. So anyway, hopefully that's a taste of
our likes.
More to come.
Yeah, what you might see. Hopefully we're going to start with some more unboxing videos, but otherwise maybe we'll see if we get started on some reviews of games. Anything else for now?
I think that's it. Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much. Again, subscribe wherever the button ends up. We'd love it if you would subscribe and support the newest, I think we can say newest board game channel to YouTube right now. Who knows when you'll see this, though.
I'm sure there's more coming. Anyway, that's a lot of fun.
Bye-bye. Bye.